On behalf of the Board of Education and our Leadership Academy, we'd like to once again say Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. We know that whatever role you hold in our district, you are a teacher. We've talked about that before, and it's never been more true than right now. During these trying times, we know they've been trying, you have stood up and you stood strong, and you will always remain a Viking. Thank you again for all the great work that you've done, and enjoy the video as we pay tribute one more time to the incredible work that you do each and every day. And as always, go Vikes.
As I was walking down the hall, trying to find my way, I was wondering what would occur on my first day. You learn the little, now we learn the life, and the memories forgotten, not being forgotten, even when the sun fades. Stand together for the last time today, and with graduating comes so much to say. Thank you to my family for all of your love.
Well, welcome to our celebration of our all of our staff, our years of service, our incredible Viking Excellence Award winners, as well as our retirees who've given so selflessly to the entire school district for multiple years. I'm very excited to represent Princeton City Schools as a superintendent, and certainly appreciate the amazing work that you guys have done, not only during this pandemic, because I don't want to lose sight of this. It's much, much more than just what you've done recently. You've done it not only throughout the course of this year, but for the entirety of your career in Princeton. We appreciate the amazing work and the effort. And of course, now it's easy to look back and say, boy, you guys are amazing for what you've done during this pandemic. But we want to recognize what's been done the entirety of the school year and then some. It's my pleasure to introduce our board president, Dr. Lillian Hawkins, who has a message from the entire Board of Education. Dr. Hawkins?
Good morning. On behalf of the board, Vice President Susan Wider, Member Mary Cleveland, Gina Ruffin-Moore, and John Simons, we are thrilled to be a part of this celebration of you. Princeton is a family, as those of you who have been here a little while recognize, and we are celebrating today over 1,000 years of being a part of Princeton, and just happy to be here, including our own superintendent, who's been here for 5 years. So we consider all of you keepers, and we thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins. And as everybody knows, I'm a data guy. So let me tell you this, 1,880 years of service. That's incredible. And I believe that's the most that we've had. If I'm inaccurate with that, I'm sure I'm going to be corrected later, and I'll make sure everybody knows. So we're going to move right now to the incredible recognition of all the years of service in each school.
Congratulations to all the staff who've reached a milestone this year. You make the Viking diff. Years of service for EVENDALE Elementary. Amy Anakin, 5 years of service. Franca Burton, 5 years of service. Joycelyn Center, 5 years of service. Emily Wisniewski, 5 years of service. Jill Shizetsky, 15 years of service. Dana Smith, 15 years of service. Mandy Pence, 20 years of service. Elizabeth O'Connor, celebrating 25 years of service. Melissa Brenner, celebrating 30 years of service. Carol Carver, celebrating 30 years of service. EVENDALE is celebrating 160 years of service this year. Years of service for Glendale Elementary School. Lorene Bingham, 5 years of service. Dakota Bittinger, 5 years of service. Connie Donnelly, 5 years of service. Yenna Frank, 5 years of service. Marky Garris, 5 years of service. Miranda Gress, 5 years of service. Janet Cameron, 15 years of service. Sylvia Choi, 15 years of service. Alyssa Force, 20 years of service. Amy Stevens, 20 years of service. Lynette Brown, celebrating 25 years of service. Glendale Elementary has 125 years of service. Heritage Hill Elementary School. Marita Beachy Azu, 5 years of service. Nagia Ding, 5 years of service. Shanice Grant, 5 years of service. Megan Bach, 10 years of service. John Benjamin, 10 years of service. Robin Lastly, 15 years of service. Amy Wagner, 20 years of service. Nancy Christoffel, celebrating 30 years of service. That is 100 years of service for Heritage Hill Elementary School. Years of service for Lincoln Heights Elementary. Mallory Jones, 5 years of service. Thumelise Phipps, 5 years of service. Bonita Layson, 20 years of service. Terry Schaefer, 25 years of service. That is 55 years of service for Lincoln Heights Elementary. Years of service for SHARONVILLE Elementary School. Tiffany Holliday, 5 years of service. Brittany McDormand, 5 years of service. Michael Theobald, 5 years of service. Antoinette Vodnik, 5 years of service. Danny Graham, 15 years of service. Lynn Lauterbach, 15 years of service. Frankie Andrews, 20 years of service. Kim Baith, 20 years of service. Curtis Spencer, 20 years of service. Aaron Sutcher, 20 years of service. Teresa Brunk, celebrating 25 years of service. Wendy McCrory, celebrating 30 years of service. That is 185 years of service for SHARONVILLE Elementary. Years of service for Springdale Elementary. Carrie Hess, 5 years of service. Sarah Lehman, 5 years of service. Lauren Shalensker, 5 years of service. Legea McGee, 15 years of service. Jocelyn Vanell, 15 years of service. Rebecca Biddle, 20 years of service. Tanisha Kinsley, 20 years of service. That is 85 years of service for Springdale Elementary. Years of service for Stewart Elementary School. Adrian Apple, 5 years of service. Dr. Ronald Fosnall, 5 years of service. Elizabeth Tolbert, 5 years of service. Deborah Engel, celebrating 25 years of service. Peggy Hillard, celebrating 30 years of service. Gail McLean, celebrating 30 years of service. That is 100 years of service at Stewart Elementary. Years of service for Woodlawn Elementary. Aaron Frankovich, 5 years of service. Molly French, 5 years of service. Holly Reardon, 5 years of service. Tamara Miller, 20 years of service. Latrice Hunter Miles, celebrating 25 years of service. Teresa Polk, celebrating 25 years of service. Anessa Doris, celebrating 30 years of service. That is 115 years of service at Woodlawn Elementary. Years of service for Princeton Community Middle School. Adrian Bargo, 5 years of service. Andrea Bird, 5 years of service. Janine Clark, 5 years of service. Heidi French, 5 years of service. Denise Hughes, 5 years of service. Tani Keys, 5 years of service. Martha Perez, 5 years of service. Colleen Ruiz, 5 years of service. Rebecca Schuholtz, 5 years of service. Damon Shepard, 5 years of service. Bruce Burke, 15 years of service. Melissa Koenig, 15 years of service. Eric Walker, 15 years of service. Jacqueline Ballman, 20 years of service. Stephen Green, 20 years of service. Kathleen McGee, 20 years of service. Shelley Miley, 20 years of service. Leslie Rogers, 20 years of service. Lisa Benson, 25 years of service. Lincoln Cobb, 25 years of service. Debbie Heher, 25 years of service. Denise Montgomery, 30 years of service to her school. Robin Wynn, 30 years of service. Gretchen Tash, celebrating 30 years of service. Robert Dorn, celebrating 35 years of service. That is 395 years of service at Princeton Community Middle School. Years of service at Princeton High School. Emily Brown Johnson, 5 years of service. Jessica Durham, 5 years of service. Erica Green, 5 years of service. Gerald Holland, 5 years of service. Suzanne Jones, 5 years of service. Carl Miller, 5 years of service. Bridget Sparks, 5 years of service. Michael Sullivan, 5 years of service. William Thomas, 5 years of service. Valerie Valires, 5 years of service. Nancy Winders, 5 years of service. Masika Woodall, 5 years of service. Bill Hochter, 10 years of service. Diane Thrower, 10 years of service. Penny Becker, 15 years of service. Vincent Henley, 15 years of service. Barbara Murdoch, 15 years of service. Lauren Perkins, 15 years of service. Alan Bates, 20 years of service. David Denler, 20 years of service. Michael Fielder, 20 years of service. Lindsay Holliday, 20 years of service. Nicholas Munlin, 20 years of service. Douglas Stutter, 20 years of service. Kim Wilhite, 20 years of service. Patty Buonset, 25 years of service. Judy Kelly, 25 years of service. Vicki Laughlin, 25 years of service. Gregory Rogers, 25 years of service. Cheryl Adams, celebrating 30 years of service. That's 410 years of service at Princeton High School. Years of service for Central Office, PAC and POC. Catrice Baguette, 5 years of service. Norman Bowling, 5 years of service. Tom Burton, 5 years of service. John Fricky, 5 years of service. Dr. Valerie Hawkins, 5 years of service. Christopher Lockhart, 5 years of service. Ali Moore, 5 years of service. Ryan Moore, 5 years of service. Dr. Donis Toller, 5 years of service. Jody Wright, 5 years of service. Tish Jones, 10 years of service. Anna Martinez, 10 years of service. Scott Tobin, 10 years of service. Gregory Spicer, 15 years of service. Larry Sweeney, 15 years of service. Janet Wells, 15 years of service. And Mike Wilson, 25 years of service. Congratulations to all the staff who have reached these milestones. Go Vikes.
Well, welcome back, and special thank you to Tish Jones, Trisha Roddy, and Chris Lockhart for putting together those slides. And we're going to move into another presentation, our Viking Excellence Award winners. And special thank you to Nancy Bortle for putting these together. She did an amazing job. And before we transition, I wanted to mention just a couple very quick things. On each one of the slides, you'll see multiple quotes. And again, Nancy did a wonderful job putting this together. We want to make sure that, we recognize each staff member the best we possibly can, but we do know that you may not be able to read all the quotes. Don't worry, this is being recorded and you can go back and read all the wonderful tributes to each Viking Excellence Award winners. Now, we also know that during this crazy time, this pandemic, again, excellence I think it's taken on a different definition. Whatever it was beforehand, when you talk about excellence, it actually feels different. And perhaps I'm not doing a really good job of explaining my thoughts, but I think that when you look at the depth that we have gone, the depth that not only these Viking Excellence Award winners have gone, but all staff members have gone, each staff member, if you will, during this time. It's simply amazing. And this quote from Mahatma Gandhi is never more true today than it ever has been. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And certainly, these Viking Excellence Award winners have done just that. And as Colin Powell said, and again, when you look at this, if you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you need to develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it's a prevailing attitude. And just like service, just like Viking excellence, it is an attitude. It's how people make that hashtag Viking that Viking difference, if you will. So it's my pleasure to start with Evendale Elementary School certified staff, Stacy Brenner. And again, we're going to hold these slides for about 5 minutes. And thanks to Chris Lockhart for advancing them for me. So classified staff, Evendale, Jessica Rollins. Certified staff, Glendale Elementary School, Melinda Fluker. Glendale Elementary School classified staff, Tiffany Strickland. Heritage Hill Elementary School certified staff, Lana Hill. Classified staff, Heritage Hill Elementary School, Elizabeth Elder. Lincoln Heights Elementary School certified staff, Mallory Jones. Classified staff winner, Lincoln Heights Elementary School, Jeannie Stenson. Now to Sharonville Elementary School, certified staff winner, Jenny Powers. Classified staff winner at Sharonville Elementary School, Teresa Brunk. Now to Springdale Elementary School, certified staff winner, Carrie Hess. Classified Staff Viking Excellence winner at Springdale Elementary School, Jennifer Dendler. Now to Stewart Elementary School, Certified Staff winner, Janelle Bauer. Classified Staff winner at Stewart Elementary School, Kathy Huffer. Woodlawn Elementary School Certified Staff winner, Kelly Moschel. Classified Staff winner, Viking Excellence at Woodlawn Elementary School, Jamie Moorfield. Now to Princeton Community Middle School, Certified Staff winner, Lincoln Cobb. Classified Staff winner at Princeton Community Middle School, Rob Dorn. Viking Excellence winner at the high school, Tracy Daniels. Classified winner at the high school, Gerald Holland. Certified Staff winner at the Innovation Center, Paul Yeckel. Classified Staff winner at the Innovation Center, Carmen Romas Torich. And at PAC Center, the Viking Excellence winner, Curtis Smith Jr. I hope everybody's given a big round of applause. I would strongly encourage you to go back and really read the slides. It was a pleasure reading those slides during the course of this week, as well as this morning, kind of rereading their amazing tribute to all the Viking Excellence Award winners. And again, each and every one of us is given so much during these crazy times, but all the way throughout the year. You've done an amazing job, but please take a minute and go back and read the great tribute to the Viking Excellence Award winners. We're going to move on to the retirement portion. And I have to say this, it's always difficult to leave, to retire, if you will. And perhaps this statement, which we've heard multiple times, once a Viking, always a Viking, is certainly true. It's certainly true. And so for those people that are retiring, just know you always have a home back at Princeton. We'd love to see you again in the hallways, classrooms, also at the events. Certainly appreciate all that you've done. And I wanted to take a moment to read a quick poem. Just need to pull it up for 1 second. Thank you. And, we've talked so much before about everybody being a teacher. So there's reference to teachers, but every single person, each person in this district is a teacher, is an educator for the great work that you do. And I've talked so much about it before, and I'm not going to belabor it, but this is entitled Teacher Time Check, and this is by Julie Kirk. It's a time check like no other when you teach for many years. To see your past students sporting mustaches and beards. It's hard to believe your students have now all grown and moved on to the careers and families of their own. When did this happen? There's just no way. It seems like it was just yesterday. But the final bell has rung and the pencils and computers are all down. You will miss each of your students, including the class clown. You'll retire happy with a few gray hairs on top of your head, but they are there to remind you of all the students that you've led. All the years of teaching, it's hard to believe. The fun and frustration, that's actually hard to leave. And it's the last day of school and you're exhausted and perhaps weary. It's time to move on before you get teary. It's been a long road and at times perhaps certifiably crazy. Now it's off to the beach to relax, unwind, and perhaps be a bit lazy. So as you go on and we recognize the great leadership and the great support that's happened over the course of all the years of the retirees, I hope you join me in congratulating each and every one for years well spent, service like no other, in the greatest profession, and that's working in schools. There's nothing that compares. So let's take a minute to recognize each Princeton employee. So retiree, paraprofessional, Springdale Elementary School, Christina Ackerman. School nurse at Princeton High School, Pat Baker. Special education paraprofessional, Evendale Elementary School, Arnetta Bryant. High school science teacher, Dave Bucco. Custodian at the high school, Raymond Fowler. Clerk typist at Princeton Community Middle School, Debbie Heher. School nurse at Lincoln Heights and at Woodlawn Elementary Schools, Edwina Ingram. Math teacher at Princeton Community Middle School, Ed Jones. School psychologist at Stewart Elementary School, Gail McLean. Grounds maintenance worker, Michael Moxley. Science teacher at Princeton Community Middle School, Daniel Rebellis. Science teacher at the high school, Greg Rogers. Custodian at the high school, Robert Sloan. They certainly have made the Viking diff. And if I may just close with a couple thoughts. Throughout the course of my 5 years here, it has been my honor to not only serve currently as superintendent, but for 3 years as associate superintendent. Going in and out of the schools, the buildings, the grounds, it's been incredible to meet so many wonderful staff members and of course, spend time with students. We're all in here to make a difference, and you've done so. We certainly appreciate your attendance here, and there's only one fitting way to end our program, and that's with playing Go Viking Go, specifically with our students, playing on their porch. At the conclusion of the video, that will end our program. Again, thank you so much for the great service that you've had. Retirees, best of luck. God bless you in your next chapter in this wonderful book that you've written. And as always, go Vikes. Thank you for your patience. It's going to be up in 1 minute.
Go Princeton.
Princeton, go. Go Princeton, go. Always go Vikes. And please make sure you guys take care of yourself, stay healthy, and God bless you all. Thank you for your attendance.